chicken monkey, chicken monkey, chicken monkey, chicken monkey. So a lot of people have been asking me about Sunny's sleep schedule and what we did to get him to sleep. And I realized that we never filmed a chapter on that. And we did a lot of the live sleep training segments on our YouTube, but we never really put together a whole video about how we got him to sleep 12 hours a night and what his nap schedule is like. So here it is. I can admit that, you know, sleep was something that we were really stressed about. Like, obviously, Sunny needs it in terms of like being able to develop and learn and grow. Like, babies need sleep, but so do adults. And, you know, it's hard to complain about lack of sleep when you have a new baby because all parents are like, well, that's just how it goes. But like, it's a real challenge, and it's a big thing that I think that people should not be afraid to complain about. It's not just one of those things that you have to just accept. I think that sleep for both your baby and yourself is something that's very, very important when you can to get under control. A lot of doctors won't recommend sleep training until they're either 6 months or 16 pounds. So, you know, there's a certain amount of time when they're first born that you have to just deal with them waking up. It's just not fair to expect a baby under 6 months to sleep through the night. And people have different opinions on that. Some people say 4 months. It's, you know, I don't want to tell you when it's the right time for you to sleep train your baby, but for us, we tried it at 4 months, and then we realized that he wasn't getting enough ounces during the day in order to sleep comfortably through the night. So some people have said in the comments that it's selfish of us to want sleep, but I think it's super important that if it's a priority for one of us, that we need to pay attention to that. And if one of us in the family isn't happy, then the whole family's not going to be happy. And like, say what you will, but it works for us. So that's why sleep is important to us. You guys can argue amongst yourselves in the comments. But yeah, now we'll get into how we sleep trained Sunny and got him to sleep 12 hours a night, as best as we can remember. The conditions when we were sleep training him were, there was nothing else in his crib. He was only in his sleep sack with his arms out. He had his little blankie, his little chicken and his elephant. It was really dark in the room. He had his sound machine on. He had a dry diaper, and he was put to sleep awake. I think those are all the things.
Did you say it was really
Well, we call them chickens if you haven't noticed, but he has this little blanket that has a chicken head that he loves. He sucks on before he falls asleep. We slept with his chickens before we gave it to him so that he felt some comfort smelling us. But they've since been washed and he's fine with them. He doesn't need a dark. They've since been washed twice, I think. We started at 4 months and it wasn't really going very well because we soon realized that he wasn't getting enough ounces during the day in order for us to feel comfortable letting him sleep through the night without any milk. So we did it for a week, but we stopped doing it until we could up his ounces and know he was getting a little bit over 30 ounces a day. At 5 months, when he was, I think, close to 16 pounds, is when we decided to rip off the Band-Aid and do it. At that point, he was getting a 10 p.m. feed and a 3 a.m. feed. He wasn't waking up for the 10 p.m. one, but we thought that if we loaded him up at 10 p.m. that he wouldn't wake up at 3 a.m., but that was still happening. It was just like his natural biological clock was waking him up at 3 a.m. So we realized the dream feed wasn't really doing its trick. So at 5 months, you and I decided just to let him cry it out. We made the decision that we were not going to go in there and that the two of us were going to support each other in that. I mean, I think it's really important when you guys decide to do this, if you can, to have some emotional support, whether you have someone that's available to you on text message or a phone call so that you can call them when you want to go in there or vent to when they're crying. I don't know, for me, I think would have been impossible to do it on my own. I think that we got really lucky because Sonny wasn't full on hysterical crying. He never got to that point, and I know for a lot of families it does get to that point, and that's what makes it really difficult. Crying scares us too. I mean, even now sometimes he'll do it and we'll go in even after we've sleep trained, but like he definitely has gotten to the point where he's crying so hard that he's like out of breath and you think they're choking, and that's like very scary. But fortunately for us, the night that we sleep trained him, he didn't get to that point. The first night he woke up at 10 p.m. when he's used to getting a dream feed, and we just didn't go in. And I think he like whimpered for 20 minutes, if my memory serves me correctly. And he kind of moaned and groaned. And I remember originally I was gonna give him the dream feed, but not the 3 a.m. feed, and you were the one that urged me to just cut out both of them. What's wrong, Sonny? Come here. Cut everything out and not go in. Oh, that was maybe bothering you. So yeah, so we got the part that he whimpered for 20 minutes at 10 p.m. and then he fell asleep. He put himself back to sleep. And then he woke up at the 3 a.m. time. And we just let him cry again. And I don't remember it being too bad, do you? No, I think we would have remembered if it was that bad. I don't remember it being too bad. I don't think it was longer than maybe 15 to 20 minutes. And he put himself back to sleep again. For a month before that, we were practicing during his naps to put him to bed awake. Because we were told that falling asleep on his own was super important in terms of getting him to sleep through the night. That he needed to know where he was when he went to sleep so that when he woke up, he wasn't scared. I think a lot of people like shush or rock their baby to sleep, and then you put your baby in their crib and they wake up and they're like, oh my God, where am I? I remember I was just like in my mom's arms, safe and cozy. So I think one of the biggest things that we did a month before sleep training him for the nighttime was getting him to fall asleep on his own, awake in his crib. It's important to know, and Alana, the sleep specialist, taught us this, that sleeping is a skill. Like just how we have taught ourselves how we best sleep and what environment we need to be in to fall asleep, like babies need that too. They need it for themselves and they need us to help encourage those patterns. So Sonny needed to learn on his own how to put himself to sleep. So after that one night, he was sleeping through the night. He was sleeping like 6:30 to 6:30. And there were a few nights sprinkled in those coming weeks that he was up, but we just didn't go in there. And now it's a very rare occasion that we'll hear him in the middle of the night. I think that like I started to feel back to normal once I wasn't waking up in the middle of the night anymore, like especially once I wasn't waking up in the middle of the night to pump. Like that was worse than waking up in the middle of the night to just give him a bottle. Like waking up to pump is, I'm sorry for all those of you that are going through that right now.
It's just the worst. I mean, like, I can't imagine it.
They're definitely, yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing in all of this, with every phase that you guys go through, is that there can be an end in sight. Yeah, if you have any questions, definitely check out Alana McGinn's website, Goodnight Sleep Site. She has been amazing and walked us through the whole sleep training process. And I think we have a pretty good sleeper on our hands. He's ready for sleep now. Bye, chickens. Oh. You want to stand up? Don't forget to subscribe. You guys can get notifications when we post something new, and leave comments because we read all of them and we love them. And we learn from you guys too.